Hello. I was trying to upload all my stuff to socials and I was like, oh, I've only got 30 seconds. I was panicking. I'm not gonna lie. That was stressful. I've never done that before. Normally I just have like a little like tweet that's just like words and that is it. And I post a little video to all my stories, but I actually posted a short on every possible thing. Oh, and I also need to upload one more. I completely forget every time. I keep forgetting about Freds. Freds is actually very important. Um, so I actually recommend it completely, and I always forget about it. Like I recommend it, but don't forget to do it if you're gonna do it. There we go. I think I've done everything. If I haven't, then that's on me, and it's my own fault. But I just posted TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, like it's crazy. I'm definitely getting used to the posting every day thing, which I did the whole time I wasn't streaming, by the way. So I'm proud of myself for that. And apparently we have dropped 700 frames. If the stream's really laggy, I apologize. Please tell me though if it is. Hello. Just trying to see who was playing Pele to have them Tafma dropped. Be with you in the okay. I appreciate you being here though. um yeah, I am playing Heartopia because I'm not vibing with too many games right now. For some reason I have this thing where like I get addicted to a game and I can't help it. So I would be playing Palia because of the update, but I decided not to. I decided Heartopia was where we're gonna stay for today. I'm not ever not going to stream Palia. We are still streaming Palia. It's just I'm trying to add in different games because for me, if I'm streaming again, I need to play more than one game. Personally, it's just kind of how I'm gonna be. I say consistent. I haven't streamed in a week, but I've been ill. Okay, but I need to move my camera down because I'm sat further down today for some reason. Yeah, like I'm still streaming Paleo. Paleo is still there, but I think I've decided that to be as consistent as I can be, I need to stream what I'm currently wanting to stream instead of just playing one game. Um, and we do have a new game next week. We have a new game coming out, and I do want to share that with you. So I will be potentially streaming that next week as well. I'm kind of determined to not stream it and not play it until I stream it, kind of thing. Um, but the game looks so cute. If you don't know what the game is, it's Stars and Island. Um, and I'm probably gonna get tricked into buying the deluxe pack because there is something I want in it. I wish I didn't, because I don't really want to spend anything like that. But these games got me hooked, and it's ridiculous because the same thing is gonna happen on Saturday in Heartopia. We have new stuff in Heartopia as well, so I am gonna be very, very broke by the end of the month. You found someone? Yes. Thank you for being here though. You don't have to watch the stream if it's not the vibe. So I appreciate you actually being here despite me not streaming Paleo right now. Um but yeah, so today we are doing Heartopia. I don't know what I'm doing on Friday. It could be Paleo, it might not be. We'll see. But I think next Wednesday is next Wednesday the release date for Stars and Island? Stars and Island. It's such a hard word for me to say, by the way, without completely like messing up with the accent. Yeah, so Wednesday the 11th next week is when that game comes out. And I'm gonna be potentially streaming it. It does come out, I think, about 5 p.m. And obviously I stream at 4. My idea was that we can go live and just talk about it and then play it, or I might have to go live later in the day, but we'll see. I'll let you guys know like the day before because I don't want to be like, I'm gonna be live at 4 and then I'm not live till 5:30. But it's fine, I only booted up PC a couple minutes ago. Really? My PC has just been stuck in Stardew Valley all morning. I have this thing where I cannot play the game we're about to stream before I stream. Because I don't want to do anything that we could do on stream instead. Like, I haven't done anything in Heartopia yet. We have crops to do, we have pets to feed, we have fishing to do, an egg to find, quests to do. I just leave it. I'm like, no, play something else, do something else, and then play the game on stream. No matter how much I want to play it, I always play it off. But yeah, basically, it could be Heartopia both streams this week, but it might be Paleo on Friday. I do want to play the new update, but I will admit, I have been most strictly playing Heartopia for the last month. I think I'm solidly addicted, and I can show you guys like the houses I've built too. Some of them started off as like a greenhouse that I was gonna like mess around with and see how I could build a greenhouse in the game, because you're kind of limited in the game until you level up with building. So it's kind of a little bit like trying to figure things out. It turned into a house, and I don't know how. So I have like a greenhouse thing that turned into a cottage. I don't know what's happening, but I keep building the same cottages. And I also have practically ran out of money because we had the rainbow event happen the other day. And I kind of sort of used all the money to buy things with the reset in the shop. So like the shops reset the furniture packs every week. And the day after the rainbow event, I went to the shop and bought everything. So I don't really have much money, but you know what? It's fine because we're going to do fishing, I think, today with the new event fish. So we'll probably just sell a bunch of fish and get money back. I'm playing Paleo because I need to grind the Lunar Market tickets for the bulletin board items. I will probably play Paleo, but I'm unsure if I'll be streaming it. You know, I'm kind of like, I want to stream Paleo so bad, especially drops, because it's great. I love it, but I'm unsure. I have 2 days a week that I can stream, and I'm always like, what do we do? Because I have to be in the right mood to play certain games. Even sometimes I'm like, I'd rather play something else than Heartopia. And that's perfectly normal. It's like a normal human thing. But I'm like in the vibe to play Paleo like while watching something and not talking. Right now I'm just not in the vibe to even play it while streaming, so we'll just see how things go. I have had to use, I don't, if anyone has seen my socials, obviously I've been posting every single day. And at the beginning, every time I posted, it was a Heartopia clip. I had to go back to August to the last VOD before I stopped streaming for like 6 months and use those clips from then. Guys, I was dragging those streams. You can see that I wasn't well. And it's crazy because since coming back, I think my attitude with streaming has completely changed. The energy is different. If you go back to August, this is like bad self-promotion. It's like bad self-promotion. But my August stream, the last stream, I think it's on my channel. It might be on my YouTube though. But I was boring. I was like putting myself to sleep. I had to skip through a 3-hour stream to try and find some clips so that I could keep posting daily, and it was bad. So these new streams, I get clips within seconds of watching the stream. So I'm happy about that. Looks like I need to get about 12 to 13k tickets to buy all the... Are you sure about that? I did see, I don't know if you've seen, because you say like you don't use socials, there's like a thing with the bulletin board in Paleo that you can actually just do XP stuff, like dailies and like the wants for like, I don't know, is there like things in the game now where you can just like do like the daily wants and things that get you XP? I think that you can just do that if you don't have any of the items for the bulletin board. Like you can just do that. I don't know how true that is, but I think that's the thing. If you hover over like one of the quests, it'll show you at the top of the bar. It'll say like it gives you like something. 5 dragon arrows and a 2k tickets each. Yeah, I would try and do the XP thing instead. That seems a lot less of a drag. But yeah. I got the flu. I got the flu. So in the last stream, I was like, oh, I think I'm getting a cough. I'm like, oh, what's wrong with me? Like, I'll be fine. Because I even said at the beginning of the stream, hey guys, I woke up feeling like I had the flu, but I'm still streaming. Ended that stream, coughed my head off for like 5 hours, went to sleep, woke up, and I felt like crap. So yeah, I got the flu. I think I got it from a guy on the train when we went shopping the day before stream. So that was fun. I stayed in bed all like last week. I ended up on antibiotics, and it wasn't great. I was itching to stream, so this is nice. It's nice to be back, and hopefully I'm not going anywhere. Okay, I'm still gonna be posting every day. So if you guys see me posting on socials and I'm not streaming, I'm still here. I just can't stream for some reason. The bulletin board bundles, you need to get all the items to complete it. No, you just do XP. You can do it from doing like dailies and weeklies and stuff. I swear you can. If you go to the board and you hover over like a quest thing on there, it'll show you at the top how much of it it'll do. I don't think you actually need to do everything in it. I don't even think you have to do anything. I think you could just do XP stuff and it goes up. Not the bundles? Huh. I don't know. There was like something on TikTok that I saw. If I find it, I can put it in the Discord if I remember. I'll see. But I did see something on TikTok about that. But let me get the game up. Did it the first time. Let's see how loud. Oh, the game is not very loud. Let me turn it up. This is not very loud at all. We're on 10. Okay, let's try and put it to 50 and see. If I go over here. To like, is there a waterfall? I'm gonna go up to this little waterfall and just see like how loud this is. Okay, it's a bit too loud. Personally, for my ears. Might not be on stream, but guys, these earphones, obviously, they're just like Apple earphones. They're not the best. They're quite unnecessarily loud for some reason. There is a lunar path, which... No, I swear, if you go to the board and you see where the weeklies are and like the daily stuff, I swear if you hover over it, it fills in a little bit of the bar. So if you complete it, it does the bar. I will do my best to try and find it for you because I feel like I swear I saw that on TikTok. I swear I saw that on TikTok. Okay. So I haven't played this all day yet. And we have a bunch of stuff I need to remember to do. First thing is clean the login. It's not for the... I swear it is! When I went online, like, I think it was last night, I, like, hovered over it, and it filled the bar in. I will look on TikTok after stream. I will do my best to look on TikTok and find it for you. I swear it's a thing. I swear it's a thing now. I don't know. But we have a couple things we need to do, because if I don't do them, I miss out on things, okay? One of those things is this, and it is so confusing. This is so confusing, because what do you mean? In order for me to buy these things, I have to go and find someone and be like, please give it to me. Like, do you know how awkward that is? Do you know how awkward it is to have to go to a stranger and like interact with them? I don't do that. It's okay. I've already done it twice. I wish it was down to XP with the bodies about gathering various items to complete them. I will still try and look for you though, because I'm like 99% sure that you can do it both ways. Because if you didn't get the furniture on the last one, people said you could just do XP stuff and it would complete it eventually, but I don't know. I have gotten quite a few things in this now, like I got not those. I got this outfit, which is super cute. She's adorable. The little cardigan and the boots and the hat. I got the boots on the first day, I think, because I didn't know how it worked, and I had to track someone down, and I was so confused. And then I found the cardigan I found the cardigan on someone else, and then I just bought the hat because I didn't want to interact with the person who owned the hat because they were at the house and it felt too awkward, so I decided instead to just refresh the shop until I got it. Which is fine, because basically if you do a bunch of like fishing and you get the fishing or cooking, like if you get the things that are seen as higher value for the event, you get more tokens. So it's definitely worth it. again. Try watching other streamers that are playing it and talk with them. Wait, are we talking about Heartopia? Try talking to... Yeah? Wait, what items are we talking about then? The ones like I'm wearing now? Like the event stuff? Basically, all you have to do is you go in here and like, you see like, these people own this jigsaw. And all I have to do is like track them. And I find them and I just like, you go and talk to them. Not literally, because you can't talk to people in this game if you don't have them as a friend. But you just track them down and there's this thing above the head that you click on and then they have to like accept the request and they just give it to you. All that it does is takes off like 30 energy, so you just give them food. I'm sociably awkward. So sometimes I'm just like, but you can get them either way, like they just show up in your shop. Like right now, my shop has this and I do not want them, so I can use normal coin to refresh this. So it's not too big of a deal. We have 50k, I thought I had less than that. But basically, like, it's fine. Like, if you don't want to talk to people and you have money in the game, just refresh your shop. It will show up. I spent, like, I think 10k to refresh a shop so I could get the hat, so I didn't have to go and disturb the person at the house. Because the thing is as well, what if they were decorating? I don't want to interrupt someone that's decorating. That's awkward. It's just so funny because, like, I don't know. I feel like it's really awkward that you can't actually talk to people in this game unless you add people as a friend, which is like good, but like it's still a little bit like odd. But then you have to go and ask strangers to be like, hey, you have this item, can I buy it from you? Because basically you... Oh, the house is so cute. Oh, it's adorable. I got distracted, sorry. In the event, there's a shop with cute stuff in it. You have things in here daily, which you can just refresh if you want. But you can buy like the same item without buying it directly from them. Like you don't take it away from that person that has it, but it gives it you at like a discounted price and stuff. So you just go up to them and be like, hi, can I have it? And then if they don't like you, then they're not going to give it to you. But if they do like you and they're nice, they'll give it to you. And then I give them food and then we jump up and down and walk away and that's it. It depends how I'm feeling in the moment. But today we will be doing it, okay? We will be going out there and actually talking to people. First off though, this house is so cute. Oh, I love it. Oh, let's do this. I haven't done this in a couple of days. Don't think I'll be playing it because I can't help you out. You can help with a lot of things. It's just you... If you don't own the item I want, I can't buy it from you. So like, it's kind of, you know. But there are so many ways that you can help people in this game. You can't talk to players in Palia private unless they're a friend. Yeah, it's like the opposite of Palia. Hello! How are you doing, Jack? We are obsessed with this game. As you can see, it's been a week I haven't streamed and I'm still playing the game. I can't get off it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm obsessed. I have the flu. I'm in bed. Okay. I'm in bed for like 5 days straight. And what am I doing while I'm trying to rest and recover from the flu? I'm playing Palia. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Oh my god, why did I say that? I'm playing Heartopia on my iPad. I'm an iPad kid now. And Heartopia has only made that problem worse. Why you ask? No, I'm not on a break. Oh, are you finished? Or are you just like not on a break and watching the stream anyway? I'm chilling. How you feeling? I'm so much better. I'm so much better. So when I ended stream on the last stream, I literally coughed my head off for 5 hours straight, went to bed, woke up and was like, I'm ill. Ended up at an out-of-hours doctor at the hospital and she was like, you got the flu. Sorry. Here's some antibiotics. And I was like, I can't stream. It kills me not to stream. Hang on. Cut the weir, because I'm not obsessed with it. No, I think the whole world is obsessed with it. You might not think you are. You might not have played it yet. Keep watching the stream and you will. The best way to describe this game to anyone that plays Palia is that it's literally a way more chilled version of Palia. There is a storyline and it's magical. It's just a hell of a lot more chill. Not gonna happen. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting. You're ill, never would have guessed from your spits of fiddle. This is what bugs me when every time I'm like questioning people like doctors like, oh, do I have a weak immune system? They're like, no, because you're not immunocompromised or anything. Like, the conditions I have shouldn't affect my immune system. Wrong. They do. I have endometriosis. That is a systematic, head to toe disease. Like, it's an inflammatory disease. It causes problems in my immune system. I literally get the flu. But from what? At least it didn't slip you upside down to check for the flu. What? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tilt table test. You know what? I think the effects of the tilt table test for my POTS diagnosis was honestly worse than this last week, so I'll take it. The tilt table test was actually the reason why I had to stop streaming, because the effects of that lasted so long that I got ill too much that I ended up not being able to stream. So I will never be having one of those again, luckily. But yeah, you guys are about to see me go crazy. You see this? I'm about to pick these strawberries so quickly. If anyone is curious of... Basically, I find it very annoying doing plants because they just take too long to pick one at once. If you press the interact button and the jump button at the same time... Okay, hang on a minute. I have new plants. Your, like, character just super zooms through it. I don't know why this is a thing, but yeah. Okay. When your cat's not in the way, it's a lot easier too. So many reels been popping off, by the way. I'm proud. I've been, honestly, thank you. I am proud of myself. I have been posting every single day for like 2 weeks into the 3rd week now. And I'm 1 or 2 subs away on YouTube from 30 subs. And I just hit 17k views this morning in the last month. I have like 10k views in the last month on Instagram, 15k on TikTok. I am not stopping, okay? I am posting daily. I'm going to carry on doing it and you can see me everywhere. Doesn't go unnoticed. I respect it. Yeah, honestly, the best thing you can do as a creator, even if you're just streaming, clip your stream. Clip your stream. Trust me, clip your stream and just post once a day. Best thing you can do. I don't care if you're lazy, just do it. It will take you 5 minutes to clip your stream and upload it to TikTok. Just do it. Best thing I've ever done. All those years, Jack, of me trying to make content that was complicated. Never again. Never again. It's like the best thing I've ever done. Oh, guys. They're not gonna let me plant stuff. We gotta feed them. Like, I would suggest the best thing you can do as a streamer is just stream a couple times a week. Not for too long. And just clip it and upload it. I personally edit them in Canva before I upload them, but I do them in bulk. So today we're streaming. Tomorrow we're doing clips. Friday I'm streaming, and Sunday I'm doing clips. But I have clips planned until tomorrow. So I have 1 clip left, but the clips from the current clips I'm posting are not that good. The last like 5 of them are like, eh. The ones before it were from streams from this year, and they were so much better, but it's okay because we're streaming today, so we have clips. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, we gotta like feed these guys because they're so annoying. Do you know what? I actually do want to take them back. Is that really bad of me to say? I like want to take these animals back to the like adoption center thing because they do not. They're so annoying. I'm sorry, I love them, I do. I'm not gonna get rid of them. I physically cannot take them back. I don't think I can do it. But this girl right here, she likes to hide under the house. Under the house. He likes to hide on top of the house. Sometimes she won't let me interact with her and it's not a game mechanic. It's a glitch. But yeah, basically tonight after stream, there will be an update. So we should hopefully get that fixed. But look, I can't plant where he is because it's blocking it. Like, hello? Why does it do that? That's the most annoying thing about this game. The worst glitch in the game is when you help on your food because your animals are like, I'm hungry, feed me. I haven't been fed in like 5 days. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't feed them last week once. At all. Like, I know I was ill. Okay, I was ill. But they were not happy with me at all. See the bar you were talking about? You should do the XP, however, you get the bundle rewards. You have to get all the items. Do you? Wait, so you can do it, but it won't give you everything that you've just done it for. Like, huh? Honestly, games these days are so confusing. Excuses? They're annoying. Do you know how much they cost me to buy them food? Do you know, they poop in the house. And look, if I go to my house, I bet they've destroyed furniture again. Let's see. Can we find any furniture that was destroyed? My bed. They destroyed my bed. I have to fix my bed. I fed them yesterday. They shouldn't be that hungry. And that dog is the most annoying thing. I actually like the cat better because the cat, as much as the cat glitches all the time, never gets hungry. The dog hates me. I love Dumpling. Oh, hello. You're wasting your rainbow bouquet. In my house? I'm honored. Hi. Do you have emotes? I don't know who this is. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's my bathroom. Yeah. You like it? It's kind of rubbish. I haven't done much to it. Oh. Are we... Oh. Oh, thank you! Yay! You're gonna pet my dog? You can pet my dog. Yeah, there we go. You can open the chest with getting XP. The bundles also give you separate rewards. Oh, I did not know that. I didn't know that. But that makes so much sense now. Thank you for explaining that. So basically you can do the XP, but you still have to get the bundle. I will work on the bundles off stream probably, unless I decide to stream on Friday playing Palia, because I'm still not sure if I want to play Palia or Heartopia on Friday. So I wasn't wrong. Do you know who was wrong? TikTok was wrong. You know, all these people, all these creators and streamers putting tips out there on TikTok to help you with your game, and they're not right all the time. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. Sometimes we get things wrong. We're human too. Okay, that's the simple stuff done. Okay. But now we have to do these. I need to do this, like, personal goals one, but I just don't want to do it. I hate doing that one. So we have to remind Kaching, cook 4 times, feed any cat 1 time, collect 6 apples and stones. So let's do, like, the stone I already have. Apples we need to go get. So let's do apples. We're right next to the apples, right? No, not quite. These are tangerines. I thought that they were apples. Oh, we need to find oak too. I haven't done the Roman oak or oh, he's there. Nice. I haven't done any of these sort of daily stuff for like a couple of days. I just forgot. Focus check. Thank you. Gotta prevent any problems. I appreciate the hydration. So when all ranch animals reach venerated, I'm getting rid of them all. Do you have no heart? Do you have no heart? That is so mean. So mean. I can't believe that. I feel awful. Because, I mean, to be fair, my animals haven't been fed in a long time. But, do you know what I'm just terrible with? every single game that I play that involves animals, I am absolutely terrible at feeding them. Because right now I haven't played Palia properly in a very like amount of time. Like I play it for like a little bit and then I like change games. So like I don't feed my animals on there, and then I don't feed my animals on here, and then I play Stardew Valley and my chicken. I have one chicken. I have one chicken. All it requires is one thing of hay, and it's fed. And I don't feed the chicken. All my animals hate me like greatly, and I feel terrible, but I just have very bad like memory. Personally, I just need to and take so long to get around the ranch. Cookies are a joke, so fair enough. Fair enough. It is very infuriating when it comes to animals in games. They don't make it easy, do they? When they announced in Palia that they were gonna do the ranching thing, everyone was like, oh my god, like I'm so excited, and I was like the same, and then it just turned out that it was just a big fat chore that took hours and hours of dedication to do every time you log in. So do you know what? No, I don't like ranching in Palia either. But I don't like pets in Heartopia. They're adorable. So the animals in Palia, but do you know what? I don't think I can keep up with it. Time gated so you can only really interact with them once a day. That's just like, it's like I don't want to log onto a game and be forced to do something like instantly, you know what I mean? I don't know. We have something. I'm not sure if I upgrade this right now, if it's going to give me some more furniture. Guys, we just reached level 25 DG member. So, let's go to Bob. Let's go to Bob, because Bob is gonna have... Oh my god. Let's see. Is he gonna be nice? Okay, come on, Bob. We just reached level 25. You're supposed to give me extra furniture, right? Oh, wait. No, it's not up there. It's this one. What is it? I'm gonna buy it. But, oh, it's the calico thing. I don't like it. No! Is it a free-to-play game? Yes, this is a free-to-play game. Completely free-to-play, but it is a gacha game, so if you don't like gachas, don't play it. But I haven't actually dabbled in it too much yet. These are the current things in the game, but in like 3 days, they're gonna update it to a like foresty, like fairy, like treehouse vibe. Basically, anything that's my aesthetic is going to be in the game in like 2 days. A what game? A gacha game. I think that's how you say it. Basically, like they have these paid outfits in the game and like paid furniture and stuff, and you basically draw on it. So this costs like real money, but they do give it you for free sometimes. So these are limited. This is a limited currency of this, and this is one that you keep forever. And you can buy this, and you basically use a ticket to potentially get an item from the outfit. So, like, if you want the shoes, like, you may not get the shoes. It might cost you, like, £50 to get them. So if you know what, oh, what's the game? It's like Infinity Nikki and like, what's the other game I'm thinking of? It's difficult. If you have a really hard time with not spending money, do not play games like this. It will be really bad. You're basically gambling to get cosmetics. Is the easiest way I can describe it. Like, we found for a pair of pixel boots. It's, one ticket is 10 hearts, and 10 hearts is less than 20... It's like 10p. So each time you use one of these, it's 10p. So it costs you like 60p to draw 6 times. But you might only get like the hair and like an earring. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you can just straight up buy the bundle without spending like £500 or something. They're doing a My Little Pony collab like next month, I think, or is it the end of this month? And someone said it costs like £500 to get the entire like outfit for one of them. So my town ID? How do I find my town ID? I'm actually not too sure. How do I do that? Is it on the map? Is that it at the top? If you would like to join me. I'm just like messing around, to be honest. We're just trying to get like daily stuff done, and then I'm gonna go fish for the event fish because I have some of them, but we need like the highest star ones too. We both spent over £1,000 on Fortnite. I have not spent £1,000 on Fortnite. Okay, thank you for putting it in chat. I appreciate it. I should probably do that. I should probably start doing that. I've spent about £600-700. I just did that to myself. I did it to myself. Oh no. On Fortnite, but that was like 7 years worth. Okay, I'm allowed to do that. So far in this game, all I have spent is enough to own this like battle pass system, and it was like £10. But on Saturday, the new gacha bundle thing comes out, and I'm going to be spending some money on it. So I will update you guys on that. That sealed it. I won't be playing it in a hurry. Oh, if it's not your type of vibe, I wouldn't. If you struggle with it, or you just don't like transactions like that in games, I would probably advise against it. But I do love this game so much. And like I say, I played the game for like a month before I even spent remotely anything on it, and it's only £10 so far. So it's personal opinion, I think. Spent almost £2,000 on a game called Runes of Magic. Never again. Yeah, you told me about that before. You told me about that before. I can't judge. Okay, we bought this, but I regret it. I regret it badly, okay? Wait, rugs. Do we have more rugs? Did I buy them? I bought them. Damn it. I don't care for the pink dinosaur. If anyone wants the pink dinosaur. I already have that. Okay, we already bought these as well. But look how cute this is. How adorable is this? Like, come on. I need it in a different color. I think they do it in green, and if they do it in green, I'm obsessed. Feed any cat one time. This happened the other day. I fed my cat, and then I accepted my 5 dailies, and one of them was to feed my cat. You just say feed any cat. I could feed someone else's cat. Oh, look at all the great babies. Oh my god. You guys are so annoying and want feeding all the time, and you complain and hide under my house and on my roof, but you're so cute. I kind of want another one. So, just me that spent over £1,000 and doesn't even play the game anymore. Jack, I have not played I haven't played Fortnite since before Christmas. It's not really a choice. It's more so of like I don't really feel like playing it right there and then. Like, I just don't really feel like it yet, you know? Right now, it's just not the vibe. You know what is the vibe? Oh my. The last time I played with you was the last time I played. That was probably around the last time I played too. We just got a cute little hat for my animals again. I keep having to change what they're wearing because they're just so cute. Stop it. How cute. My mum just said she's home and said, tell everyone she said hi. I would expect her to maybe come in at some point. Fair warning. But yeah, I mean, I've spent so much money on Fortnite. I think it's the most I've ever spent on a game, but guys, I have 2,000 hours plus on Fortnite, so I think spending that money on Fortnite isn't too wasted, and I will always go back to Fortnite. As long as the game's alive, I will definitely play the game. It's not something you guys will see me play, because I'm not going to stream it, because that's not the vibe. But, you know. Tell her I said hi. I think she's watching the stream, to be honest. She's probably just not coming yet. I bought that hat, but I think I think this is too cute. I also gave my cat a little fish. I think it's so cute. Fortnite is a cozy game. Fortnite can be a cozy game if you want it to be. But it is... No. The games that we're going to be playing on this stream are going to be changing up very soon, though. I don't know if anyone was here at the beginning, but I was saying how... I obviously am playing Palia and Heartopia right now, but next week we have a new game coming out, and I am 1000% playing it on stream. So if you guys are interested in Star Sand Island, I will be playing it next Wednesday. Because I'm just too obsessed with the cozy games that are all coming out right now. There's too many of them. I can't help myself. We have Anemo, or is it Animo, coming out soon. We have Loftia coming out soon. Hopefully. This is not my house. That's my house. We have potentially Witchbrook coming out soon too. So these are all the games that we will be playing on stream. And some of them are multiplayer, not all of them are, but a lot of them are. So if you guys are also going to be playing these games, you can join me when they are available. I'm so hyped for all the games that are coming out soon. I think we went through a big slump in the cozy gaming space that had like not that many games, or they were just like updates for games coming out. Now we are being fed. So I am so excited for all these games. These are games that I've been like anticipating happening. So it's like super cool. Where's the egg? Does anyone know where the daily egg is? I do believe that it does just spawn around the event area, so we can go and look, but I could also just look on Discord. Because I don't want to forget. I don't know if we can collect the eggs after the event. Not after the event, after the day that they spawn. Or if we have to do it on the day. And I don't want to miss one. Because I'm like... I'm worried I'm going to miss out on something. So we've already seen that one. And then this is the one that I could, for the absolute life of me, I could be like... I couldn't find this one yesterday. No balloon popping in the lunar market. Really? They took that out? They replaced it with anything? I wonder where they put the egg. I think we maybe try and look for the egg before... before we do anything else. Because I'm not gonna lie, I think sometimes I feel like I'm cheating when I look things up. Okay, it's not by Vanya. Are you knocking at the door? Not by Vanya. Hot pot and the chopper chairs? Oh. I'm not happy about that. That makes me not want to do it even more. Why did this door... I was like, when did this door not be a portal? Where's the portal gone? And then he puts me through the portal. Hello? Oh my god, this game. Hang on, I need to... Still got that, like, that cough going on a little bit. Apologies. I believe it's still going to be in the Magic Market, not the Lunar Market anymore. That's so weird. That's so weird. I wonder why. Guys, where is the egg? Where is the daily egg? It's not, it wasn't up there, was it? Did I just like walk past it? Yeah, this is supposed to be a portal door, and for some reason it's not shown as a portal, so it just TP'd me without like warning. I think we might have to look on Discord. The egg. Daily egg, daily egg. Where are you? Okay, we have a 6-picture post. Where did I go? Oh god. Okay, maybe not. That's not from today. Did I just like completely miss it while I was up here though? Like, where are they gonna put them all? There's too many of them. There's like 12 eggs. I don't know where they're gonna put them. The first one did spawn up there though, so that is a possibility. I believe, it could be anywhere. Honestly, sometimes I think like, oh, the map's not that big, but the map's not that big until you're looking for an egg. An egg. Like, you know, an egg that's tiny. I have no idea. It could be anywhere. I do not want to not know where this is. If I can't find this egg, I'm not gonna be happy. Oh, egg hunting locations updated 28 minutes ago. Let's see. So there was one there. I got that one. Where's today's egg? Okay, today's egg is by... Oh. It's by the cooking stuff. Okay. I definitely walked past that, right? You guys ever do that? I literally looked straight at this. You see this egg? I looked straight at it and it just wasn't here. Okay, we're gonna go... It's so cute. Yay, we found it. If anyone's trying to look for the egg, it's on top of this like food stall by the ice rink. That's so funny. I can't believe that took me so long. And we need to do a cooking quest. We need to cook 4 times. So I'm gonna do the pancakes because these make so much tokens right now that you can buy whatever you want. Like my whole outfit is like basically from the tokens, so I would recommend doing whatever the shop says. I don't know if it's been updated yet. It might be updated tonight. I'm actually not too sure when the event updates because we are going to get like frost spore birds, insects, and something else. I don't remember what the other thing was. But right now all we have obviously is the food and then the fish. So that's what we're going to focus on today anyway. Because I know that these are going to make me the most money in general. But also, like, I'm not too sure if it's just me, but can we only cook the event food at the event ovens? Like, do I have to buy the ovens or just use these ones? Because for some reason I go back home and I cannot make pancakes in my oven because I have the standard little, like, it's not even a real stove. It's like a camping cooker. So I'm not too sure why we can't do that, because I was stood here the other day stressing using all 3 of these while there were people around, thinking someone is gonna sabotage this in a minute, and it was not fun. I was on edge the whole time. There was like people running down here and I'm like, don't take my food. I don't think they can take your food, but I think they can burn it, and I don't trust anyone in these games. Okay. We are amongst people that do not really want to be cozy in cozy games. There's cozy people that play these games, that play them nicely, and then there are people that are not cozy and don't play nice. I don't trust people not to burn my food when I'm publicly cooking. Let's sell these to you. I'm keeping like one of them so that I can display it. 1,232 tokens. So good. Hello. Is it you I can hear outside? I can hear people walking around. Unless I'm making it up in my mind. Do we have anything? What are these? I don't really want the blue stuff too much. I want the pink, but I don't like this jacket. I'm going to refresh the daily just to see. I don't really want that. One more. We'll do one more. Is there any? No, there's not. I don't want any of those. Has anyone got anything? No. Okay, we'll see in a little bit because when people join the server and things, it changes completely. Yeah, it's me. Okay. I didn't know who it was. I was like, I can hear someone outside my room. We need to go and feed a cat. So we can't feed my cat. So a lucky person is gonna have their cat fed. Let's go find someone's cat that their owner does not want to feed. What is that? Did you just see that? That was driving itself, right? Hi. Who is this? who is this? I don't know who you are, but hi. Who is this? What are we pondering? Hello? Okay, I'm gonna go feed someone's cat. I don't know who this is. I feel bad. I feel bad. I feel bad. It's a cat. We have a cat. Can I feed you? Please tell me your owner didn't feed you today. Damn it! You've got a nice owner. Oh, your owner's literally in the house. Okay. You do not have a cat. You have just started the game. I spot a cat. But the owner is right there, so this might be a little awkward. Damn it! These cats are so well fed. Why are none of them starving? Just let me feed your cat, please. Everyone stop feeding their cats so that Casey can go and feed them. Because I already fed mine. Are you well fed? Are you well fed? Please don't be well fed. Oh, it glitched. Oh, it glitched. It glitched onto the house. It's not even my cat. And this cat hits me too. Great. We have ads coming up in 3 minutes. I apologize. We will be going on a little break for 3 minutes. But not just yet, don't worry. We're just gonna try and find a cat. I need a cat. I need to feed a cat. Everyone on this server is just too good. They're all too nice to their cats. Damn it, there's just no cat to feed. Why did I have to feed my cat already? I need to start accepting these quests before I actually feed the animals, because it's always like, interact with a cat, interact with a dog, and it doesn't want me anywhere near it. So annoying. Oh no, we have Dreamland Valley tweeting about the new star path. I don't even know if I did the last one, and I'm gonna regret that. I'm gonna regret that. Although I don't remember if I logged in and was like, not a fan. I hope that was the case, because I've missed out on some like really good star paths and keep kicking myself for it. Are you unfed? Are you unfed? Please tell me she hasn't fed you yet. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for letting me do my quest. I appreciate it. These people are so confused. Like, why is this girl touching my cats? You can do. Kaching. We need to go to Kaching. I'm not gonna... No, she's too far away. I'm gonna drive. I'm too lazy for that. I can't help myself. I have to just drive everywhere, even if it's like 2 seconds away. Oh, I didn't even mean to do this. Okay. I think we've done all the dailies, though. Yes! The only one we have is... Oh, we finished that one. We finished! Oh. You've got 30 seconds until ads play. Because then... Turn it down. Echoing. Hi. I think we can actually hear you now as well, because I changed the mic. You don't have to eat the microphone to speak.
Me and Casey are twinnies now.
Oh yeah. My mum like stole my hair.
Oh yeah.
She like cut my hair off in the middle of the night and then stuck it on her head.
Okay, going to add cover.
Yes. I will see you guys in like 3 minutes.
See you in a minute. Oh, yes, you will. I will.
Go and look after yourself for 3 minutes, please. We're back. That 3 minutes honestly sometimes feels very long. When I used to just talk throughout ads, it used to feel like it was really quick and over with, but now I'm like, actually, like, no, I'll take 3 minutes away. Everyone go get a drink, and I'm like sat here like, waiting. He was actually 3 minutes and 2 seconds. I was drinking water, okay? Sorry about that. The minute the ads came on, my mum was like, drink some water. And I was like, Jack already did that for me. Jack already told me to drink water, but, you know, we can always have more. So it's fine. I really do need to be drinking more water, to be honest. I've been really, really bad with it these last couple of days. I drank so much water while I was ill, it put me off drinking water at all. I think we're done with pretty much everything, so we don't have to think about too much of anything. I think we're just gonna go do my plants and fish. I think that's all we have to do. These do grow every 15 minutes, so we can just basically, like, keep doing them. Which is nice. I do have a lot of them. I don't even know what I'm doing them for. I'm just doing them to get my, like, gardening level up, because I want things. I want to do things, and I can't do them yet. I'm grinding the skills. That's what I've been doing. I think that all we have is fishing then. Let's go see if we have any like event quests though. And is there any like... No, there isn't. Okay. Saturday. Saturday is the next meteor, so like we don't have any like real big weather events until then. Which honestly, like, I think is a good thing. For reference, if you've played Paleo but not Heartopia yet, the events in this game are Hello? What just happened? What just happened? What just happened? Oh my god, I just teleported through a wall. Hello? There is maintenance in like 3 hours, but this game is just like broken. What in the... Oh. Okay. I have no idea what is going on. Let me speak to Azura. Okay. Azura, is that what we're calling her? Azura? Azura? I don't know. In fact, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to see if you have any, like, quests or something for me. Oh, is this a quest? Oh, it's not a quest. Of course, it's not a quest. So the game is 1000% broken right now, but you know what? Like, it's fine. It's completely fine. Wait, let's speak to, like... Okay, I want to see if I'm missing anything. I'm not missing anything, right? I need to buy ingredients. Oh, we're playing music. I was like, where did that music come from? Nice music. I walked past someone's house the other week, actually. It was really cool. And they had a vinyl playing, but it was like full-blown classical music. And I was like, that was like the vibe. Do I have like a clapping emote? It's like... Did she just copy me? Oh my god. Okay, we need to go to Vanya. I love Vanya. He's so cute. They put these little glasses on him for the event. Like, look at this. Vanya! I love him. He's so cute. I'm just gonna see if I can buy... Wait, can you only buy this every couple of days? Oh. If I buy 4 of those, I'm gonna buy all of them. And then... I think I might just fish here. We need to fix the fishing rod though. Hang on. And then I'm gonna... use one of these. And see what we can get. I have a couple that I need to get. Oh. I have a couple I need to get that's more like higher starred. I have like up to 3 starred fish for the event. But I don't have the 4 or 5s, I don't think. So we're trying to get like 4 and 5 star fishes. Which honestly is like Not too difficult. I feel like these have been really easy to find. If this was like any other game, these fish would not be this easy to find. I say that, but now I'm live. Maybe it'll be different. Let's test my luck. We have like 2 more. We got a 3-star fish, horsefish, horsefish, seahorse. What is a horsefish? A seahorse. Okay, we didn't have that one yet. Let's see what else we get. I also feel like standing in one place doesn't help either. I feel like moving around might help. That might just be me being like... I might be making that up, but it feels like it should work. To just like move around the water and try different places. Rather than just standing in one place doing this. I have to say though, the mermaid tails make fishing in this game so much nicer. Because I don't mind the fishing mechanic. Like the little mini game thing like this. This is fine, like I don't mind. But I do mind having to walk around to find fish. It kind of takes it away a little bit. In like a lot of other games, you can kind of just fish where you want. But that is gigantic. Hello? I did not check if we had any food. I've been giving my food away to people for items. I just realized I have no food. Do I? Let's see. Do I have food? Oh, I have some. Wait, I need to lock this. Okay, we have some, but it's not going to be a lot. We might have to make food again. Okay, we're going to move down here. And get this guy. So we've gotten 2, but one of them's what we actually needed. I don't need like a 1-star of anything. And I don't know any ones on lock. That's a new fish. Or at least a better version of it. So we have like... We have these 4 available right now for the event, but there's another one that isn't actually available yet. And then there's also going to be like bugs and birds as well. But this one doesn't come out till week 2, which starts in 2 days. So when the new stuff comes out, the new like shop stuff is when this switches over. So that's going to be an eventful day, and I'm not going to be live for it. I'll have to like post some stuff on my stories. You guys are going to see I might have to film my reaction. It's too cute. It's too cute. Like, you cannot tell me that the new stuff coming out isn't the nicest thing you've seen. It's literally my aesthetic perfectly. What do you mean I get to live in a treehouse as, like, a fairy witch hybrid? The problem is, I have to actually get those things first. And I'm a little bit worried because I've never actually done, like, a gacha thing properly before. And I'm like, I gotta hold back. I gotta hold back. Someone said it costs, like... If you want everything, like, every single thing in the new pack, it's gonna be like £500 unless you're really lucky. So obviously I'm not spending that. I'm not silly, okay? But if I had money, that would be evidence. If I had unlimited money, there would be evidence and it would be shown in my Heartopia, okay? Just don't have nightmares. What am I having nightmares about? This game? Are you serious? Huh? It's like a treehouse building thing with like a cute costume. What are we talking about? If I have nightmares, it's like my unconscious last night. No, that wasn't last night, it was the night before. I think I read it up. Okay, I had a weird nightmare. I'm not explaining it because it's like ugh. But when I have nightmares, I only have them because I'm like sort of like worrying about something, or I'm like stressed in the moment. That's the only reason I ever have nightmares. I don't have nightmares otherwise. What I'm talking about in this game, Mum, is a cute thing, okay? I've just got to refrain from buying things, not having nightmares. Nightmares is the least of my worries when it comes to this. I don't know how to explain the gacha thing to people that don't know what the gacha thing is. It's so confusing. Mum. Yeah, Mum. You want me to call you by name? We're gonna do another mermaid tail, I think, because we have 3, 4, and 5 to get for the crab, 3, 4, and 5 to get for the sunfish, 4 and 5 to get for the pufferfish, and then 4 and 5 for the seahorse. We have quite a few to get. What happened to Joanne? I decide when I want to call you by name. I don't know. It doesn't fit the vibe right now. Doesn't fit the vibe right now, you know. Don't worry, I'll call you by name when I finish stream. Oh, this could be a sunfish maybe. I'm not too sure if the sunfish are really difficult to catch. I remember when I had this with a fish for the first time, I had no idea how to catch it without breaking the fishing rod. Okay, it's not what we thought it was. That's fine, because we're about to get at least one. I didn't even mean to do that. No, what am I doing? Mermaid tail. There we go. Okay. I don't have any perfume, by the way, because I haven't actually gotten to... Oh. I haven't actually gotten to that point in fishing, I don't think, yet, where I can even purchase the perfume. So if you put a mermaid tail down, it attracts fish to a certain area. And then if you use perfume, it makes it so that you don't have to do all of this that I'm doing right now. You just instantly catch the fish. If my son called me by name, he'd get my shoe to his butt. I never used to do it. I never used to. And then one day, I think my brother called her by name, and so I did it as well because she was like acting annoyed about it, and it just became like a big joke. I think it depends on your relationship as well, because I'm not gonna lie, we're more like sisters most of the time. Honestly, I think sometimes people probably do think we are sisters by the way we act, so I don't know. I think it's appropriate. I don't do it all the time. I do it most of the time. That's a better way of putting it. Most of the time, not all the time. I'm very forgiving. You don't mind. Oh, Tony, every time you write something, it's like blocking it from being said. I still put my shootings on. Yeah, I don't think she minds. You don't mind. If she didn't like me doing it, I wouldn't do it, right? Like, I'm not gonna call her by name if she doesn't want to be called by name. Like, doesn't like the word, but he liked it now. Twitch is like, bad word, and then 2 seconds later it's like, it's fine. I don't think it can make its mind up, I'm not gonna lie. It's constantly like changing what it wants to do. It's funny when you do it. See, if you didn't find it funny though and you actually hated me doing it, I wouldn't do it. Wait, can we do the ice skating? Because if we can do ice skating, well, the auto mods, they need to be fired. See, I would turn auto mod off, but it actually saves us in a lot of situations, so I actually don't. If fail challenge, or no attempts will be deducted. Oh, you can keep doing it until... Oh, if you fail, it doesn't take an attempt. So I have 2 attempts. Okay, you guys are going to see me do this. This is so difficult, by the way. It might just be pressing buttons, but you have to press the buttons a certain amount of times in a very short period of time to reach the goal, and it is... It's not very easy. And I'm trying not to move too much because it's gonna like make people dizzy. So it's showing it on TV but not on mobile. What, it's showing the message? I allowed it now. Does it not say that it was like auto-modded on mobile? Like, it should have said message deleted, or it shouldn't have even sent it, I think. Oh, you might have it turned on so that it blocks certain terms. I had it turned on for some reason too, a bit ago. This is probably making my mum dizzy as well, to be honest. It's got stars. Yeah, that just means it's been like filtered. You can turn it off in the settings if you want me to. But yeah, I keep auto mod on because if I turn auto mod off, there are times where I will need it. So I just accept your messages like really quick and it's fine. But this hurts to do, by the way. This like constant clicking really, really quick hurts my hand. I think we're fine though. I think we got it. Not help my vertigo. I will be done in a second. Just look away while we do this. I'm doing one more and then I'm done. That might have done it though. No. Gotta keep going. There we go. I'll be done in a second. I can only do 2 of these a day. So we do one more. No! My girl, you better get back on that ice. My god. Okay, we'll do one more and then we're done. Because I know this is super dizzying for people. It's bad for me. I did this for like an hour last night. And it hurt. Everyone keeps saying, oh yeah, the ice skating is like the easiest thing you can do in Heartopia right now. It's literally just clicking buttons. And I'm like, okay, let me go try it. When I tell you, this is not that easy. You get like an increased score you have to get. And it gives you like not very much time. And you're like sat here like this hurts. Okay. My poor hands are like screaming right now. Also, some of these moves are a little like weird. What is that? What is that? What is that? Why? Just as I'm talking about it, it pops up. So weird. Like, who came up with that? With the mechanics of the game? No. No. Oh my god. Nope, not again. Don't do it again. My god. Okay, we're almost done. And then we will be able to do this again anyway, so I'll leave it for today. Difficulty increased. That means I leveled up. Oh my god, she's making me dizzy too. Please stop spinning. Okay. Should be done. There we go. No more. We're done. No more ice skating. If it was making anyone dizzy, I apologize. I'm gonna leave now. And then we go to dreams and we can update it. Hopefully something. Yep, one thing. Anything else? That one. And we did that. We're getting close, but this is taking a long time for me to like level it up. And how long do we have? We have 6 weeks. Yeah, we have 6 weeks. It's quite a long time. Like, these don't come out till next... So these come out on Saturday. So we get bugs on Saturday. And we get birds on Saturday. Oh, so everything unlocks on Saturday. Okay. That's not bad. I honestly thought it was going to be a lot longer. I wonder if anything else will be unlocked after that. What do we have that are dailies? We need to do... Well, they're not dailies. They're weeklies. 5 bits, 10 insects. I haven't caught... I haven't been doing any insect catching this whole time. You can tell that. This has been out for like 5 days now and I haven't caught more than 2 insects. 10 info cards. Maybe we should do that. So we have 10 insects and 2 birds to get. Let's just see if we can find them then. Because we might as well do it on stream if I'm going to do it. Oh. Oh. Quick. Quick. And he flew. At least we got one. There should be like a flamingo here, maybe? There's usually a flamingo. Is there a bird? There's no birds. Well, we need like 8 insects, so we might as well catch these while we're at it. And then there's a duck. The duck counts. Just realized you don't have your contacts in. Do you know why I don't have my contacts in? I contemplated putting them in yesterday and I was like, I'll leave them till I stream tomorrow. like finally like use them again, because when you have the flu, especially the flu, it says that you can contaminate them with the like the it says you can contaminate the contacts when putting them in your eye with the germs from the coughing, which I didn't know that was a thing. No one told me that. So when you're ill, don't wear contacts, especially if you're like congested. Gross, but you know. And I was like, oh, wear them for stream. And I was getting ready for stream and I was like, I'm not feeling it. Like my arm is killing me for some reason. I have no idea why. So I was like, I'll concentrate on the arm pain instead of making my eyes tired. But I don't know. I'm only wearing them for a couple hours now. So if we go out the house, I'll wear them for a couple hours. But if we're going to be out the house for a long time, I am not going to wear them out the house. I'm just going to try and get used to them slower. Because I also had another payment for my contacts come out this morning. So you look really help. Thank you. But I do prefer not wearing glasses because these things are the most annoying things ever. Wait, where did this guy come from? Collect free rare timbers. I could do that so easily. What? Isn't this one of them? Isn't this like a rare timber tree? Oh, it's quality. But where do we get rare timber from? Hang on. That's quality. Where do we get the rare? Wait, the rare's the big trees, maybe. Maybe? Like these ones? Let's see. No, that's quality timber. Is the rare timber only from oak? Let's see. Oh, we need to go back home. Let's go home and figure out. I need to put some stuff away so that I have space, because we have no space. But we also need food. Maybe we should make some salad while we're there. I think I'm just down here. There we are. No, the house that the person had left. Oh, it was such a cute house. The one thing I really love about this game is the decoration. And you know what it's like convincing me to do? When I get back into like a... Oh, I did not mean to do that. When I get back into like my paleo obsession, you know when you like right now I'm obsessed with Heartopia. So like when I get back into the paleo obsession to the point that it's like I don't want to play anything else, I think I have to do the thing I have yet to do. And you're all gonna roll your eyes as I say this too. Like, yeah, sure, you're gonna do that. You've said that a million times. I think I need to decorate in Paleo. Like, I have not remotely done any decorating other than, like, the tiniest little bit from the outside that you guys have already seen. It's bad, okay? It's, like, really bad because I've been playing that game for, like, 2 years and I haven't dedicated enough time into it yet. Wait, I have nothing I can get rid of. Oh, what do I do? Where's Albert? Yeah, I have not put enough time into Paleo to actually, like, decorate the game. And I think it was because I was so worried that I didn't have enough stuff to actually decorate with. Like, I didn't have materials or I didn't have anything to buy, like... And I was just like, where do I start? And it was overwhelming, right? And I think a lot of people can relate to that, like... But... Personally, this game made me understand that I need to slow down with stuff when it comes to games, and I need to just like play them slower. So maybe we build the house, and then after that, maybe we can start decorating inside and then outside, and just like go from there. Instead of just being like all or nothing. Because right now I'm like, if I don't have everything I need in Paleo, I can't decorate. But, like, this house is so cute, and I made it all myself. And I want to make stuff like this in Paleo, too. One of the rewards from doing the bundles is kill more coins. Oh, is that what, not the XP thing, is that from actually doing the bundle, like, with the items? Because that makes sense, then. I would definitely try and complete it. It's, like, definitely worth trying to do that. My blueprints. I've done... This is my starter home, which is rubbish, obviously. This is a recolored version of it. Then this is the original color of this house, and I hate this so badly. The green version is alright. However, this, you can't even really see it. It's so cute. I love it. Like, wait, I need to like show you. What camera is that? I need to like, let me show you guys this house before we do anything else. I'm obsessed. I came up with a few ideas without remotely seeing anyone else do it. And I'm so proud. I'm like so proud because tell me how I figured these things out. One, I managed to like build like a, what do you even call this? These kind of stairs that are not just like straight downstairs. This took me forever, by the way. Mom, I don't know if you're still there. This is what I did when you abandoned me to have your hair done. This is what I spent my time doing. But this staircase, okay, took me hours to figure out. I had like 7 different versions of it, and it actually worked out in the end. The second thing I figured out is that you can do like window planters. I didn't even see anyone do this for the first time in my life in a game. When it comes to decorating, I actually did something on my own without someone telling me you could do it. I like figured it out. I was like, wait, can I put these plants on there? So if you want to know what this is, it's basically like the, where is it? It's this like thing here that you just put under the windows, and then you use the like plants that you can get from Bob's like shop. Where are they? Are they in here? And they're just like cute like little planters, these. And you just put them on top and they just look so cute. Like, obviously there's going to be better stuff, especially when it comes to the new update, like with the new items. That's the kind of stuff that's going to be in it, I think, is like cute plant stuff. But this was such like a cool idea. I was like, oh, I figured something out for once. And then I made the roof like kind of like a mossy color to look like it was moss. This was so cool for me. I was like, oh my god, I figured stuff out. Now don't get me wrong. There's no way of getting out. Not, oh, you can do that. But yeah, it's just it's like a box. There's nothing to it. It is purely just like a blueprint, literally. But that was fun. I had fun doing that one. And then did I do any others? Oh yeah, because basically this was the house that we had originally on the last stream. And then I changed it to this one, and then I started doing these. So I'm not actually sure if did I do something on this one as well? Or did I end up leaving this one? This one might just be a shell. No, it's not, I forgot. This is originally the one that I was doing the other day, and then I started doing that one as well, but this one was the first one I did, and I spent so long like testing stuff out. I love the idea of the decorating in this game. It's so fun. Like I've always struggled with building. I like decorating, but building has always been a problem. I've never been able to do it, which is why I'm so scared about doing it in Palia. But this has motivated me to like do it in any game from now on. With like Starson's Island coming out, that's got good decorating in it. Loftia, and like I don't know what Witchbrook has in it, but I'm gonna assume there's some element of decorating. Like this really has motivated me to like do it because it's so fun. I've never had that much fun building the exterior of places. I've always been the kind of person that used, like in The Sims, I love decorating in The Sims, but I could never build. So I used to use everyone else's houses from the like the library and stuff. What's it called? Is it called the library? The gallery or whatever it's called in The Sims. I used to download them and then I would decorate them myself, but I could never build the houses. It would take me so long and I'd hate how it looked. You know what? I'm quite proud of these. It's not fully done at all because I need to do like outside stuff. But I decorated inside too, and I really like it. Look how cute this is. You have like laptops and everything in this game. Like, oh, he's just like there. But this is like nice. I like this. I'm proud of my house. For the first time, I'm actually proud of it. You are not hungry. Do not tell me you are hungry. If he is hungry, I actually swear. How have you even got any hunger? You can't even see. You can't even see it because it's covered up, but he's actually somewhat hungry. I fed you less than an hour ago. Are dogs this hungry in real life? Do they get hungry every hour? Do they harass you and never leave you alone? We need to cook. We need to cook food. I can't do anything without food. Let's do some salads. I know they're not the best thing, but like, honestly, I just think there's no point me trying to cook like complicated food until I've actually gone to a point where I'm happy with I don't even know. I don't know my you know what? I don't know my excuses for not cooking like certain food in this game. I just like refuse to cook food that takes any effort or good ingredients to then use it to fish. Is that an excuse? I don't know. If it is, sue me. But I just feel like I don't want to cook like mushroom related products in the game and waste my mushrooms that could make me money on eating them. Is that so wrong? I don't know. I'd rather sell them. Because if I can make money from it, I am not about to eat it. Because I'm just wasting. I'm just wasting stuff. You know what we haven't done? Guys, I'm like, yeah, we're done. Let's go do fishing. And then I come back. Because I am prioritizing everything other than the one thing that is so important in this game. How could I ever forget to go to the shop and buy clothes? When have I ever logged on this game and not instantly gone to the shop? Am I crazy? We went to Bob. We went to Bob. We bought useless stuff from Bob. And yet Dorothy's just like here and I'm just like not caring. Okay. Are we gonna spend money today? I'm refusing to buy these, by the way, because I already own 3 of them. And they use stars. And I'm aware I have a lot of stars, okay? But stars come in useful for so many things, but I refuse. I refuse to buy these cute ones because they're cute and I love them and it's... How cute, right? I love the purple one too. And the bright pink one. But I already have these ones and I just don't want to spend my stars if I don't need to. I'm waiting. I'm waiting to spend my stars if I can help it. But I do... really, really want them. So it's really difficult. We have nothing in there either. I did see this though, and it matches my my little heart. Do we have the heart? It's the other heart! Okay, so we are not gonna buy the like outfit, but I need the little bucket hat. I can't help it. I can't help it. Okay, I'm addicted. No apologies. I spend my stars the minute I get them. And the socks are back. The famous socks are back. It's so cute. I love the rain boots in this game. Are you kidding me right now? Look at them. They're like a little... Oh my god. I already own like 50 pairs of these shoes, but how cute. The hair's covering it. But like... Hello? I saw Let's Play K use this bag, I think, and the hat. Like 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I need them. Because they might be daisies, okay? But we can pretend they're sunflowers. Because I love sunflowers. I gotta buy it. I'm gonna regret this. I'm gonna regret that. But I needed it. I needed it. And I kind of want these two because then they'll go with the thing, but I can't buy this yet. Damn it. I will buy them all eventually. Man, the addiction is real. Next week. Saturday's gonna be so difficult. Because what do you mean that this shop is gonna just be full of like cute stuff that I'm just gonna have to end up buying? It's gonna be really difficult. I do have a few of these, which means I'm gonna get some stuff without having to even spend money, so it's okay. It's okay. We are hoping that the game is gonna be nice to us. This game's always nice to us. Right? But I do have so many clothes in this game now. Look at this! Why do I have all these clothes? Now you might be asking, some of those clothes don't look like anything you're ever gonna wear. Yeah, I know. I started buying stuff when I have a load of money. I buy like everything because it gives you rewards and things in the collection. It's a bad problem. It's a bad problem. But I did get this like little barista outfit. And I've seen everyone else do cafes in the game. Guys, you can literally earn money through other players in the game, and it's so funny. So I'm like, might open up a little cafe soon. I bought all of this while I was away. That's so funny. But now we have new boots. And we have a new hat. Wait, let's see what all this looks like together, because I'm kind of obsessed. What can we put on with it? It would go. Do I even have anything that will go? I don't even know if I do. I just bought them and I don't even know if I have anything to wear with them. Because the green doesn't look right. Look at this. This doesn't look right. Uh-oh. I don't have anything to go with it. Do I have anything? This is bad. This is bad. I mean, I have the jorts. The jorts are like... That's kind of cute. That's kind of cute. This is my starter top though, and it's like makes me not want to use it because it's the first top I ever had in the game, and it's like boring in comparison, but it's still cute. It is still cute. I have the little orange jumper. By the way, I don't think this coffee cup's ever going away. I think I'm stuck with it forever because it is one of the like paid items, and I got it on like first try, and I'm like, I can't let this go. I paid money for it. Technically, I didn't. Technically, the game gave me free currency and I just like used it, but we'll pretend that I put money into it, so it makes me feel like I actually deserve it. But I need stuff to match these now because this is a problem. I have so many boots. Why do I have all of these? I saw them in the shop the other day and I just panicked. And I bought every single color of Converse because I panicked. And then I bought the snow boots in every single color because I panicked. And then I bought the ballet pumps in every single color because I panicked. So you see the problem. But these are super cute though. I'm not gonna lie. Despite the fact that I don't need them because I have these ones. But I can't help myself, okay? Like, they're just so cute. Damn it. A bit like me, a bit like you. It's basically you in real life is me in game, okay? That's how it goes. That is how it goes. Because you playing these games would just, it would never end. You would be spending so much money on these games. I'm telling you right now. If you've never gotten addicted to games that have in-game transactions, especially the microtransactions like this, don't do it. It will end badly, okay? Although we did leave there only having spent stars and not a coin. It's not a good thing. That's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do. I think we do... Oh, wait. Guys, did I check the weekly? Oh, yeah, I did. Never mind. Does he have a gossip thing? Oh, he does. When enjoying a lovely afternoon with my collection yesterday, I suddenly realised I might not have been attentive enough. Fringe on the antique rug is tangled, and the base of the cat fist... You're about to... This is about to... And the base of the cat fist stinks. The cat fist stinks. Why do I do this to myself on stream? I never used to read anything that characters said, and I was like, I need to start doing that. This is the reason why I don't read on stream. Cat-faced stinks. Whatever. It's even showing signs of cracking. It's time for a major maintenance session. He wants what? He ain't getting those from me. Those cost a lot of money. Hell no. He ain't getting those from me yet. They cost oak wood. I don't have oak wood to give this man. Like, who does he think I am? Who does he think I am? Like, I'm not doing that. Why would anyone give that guy, like, do you know what? I saw a TikTok the other day that someone thought that the collector is really suspicious. And I'm not gonna lie, he's giving, like, anime villain that, like, secretly is a villain, but you just don't have a clue until, like, the last episode or something. He gives off really suspicious vibes. I do not trust him. He's like, what is he collecting, though? Like, why is he just collecting all these things? It makes sense into the game, but, like, storyline-wise, he looks suspicious. I don't know why. Maybe I'm judging too quick, but I don't trust him. I don't trust him. I'm gonna see... We have nothing on the server. Damn it. I need to buy something today. Maybe we should refresh the store again. Oh, we got the jacket. Do I want the jacket, though? Do we want the jacket? Oh my god. Oh my god, how cute. Hello? Yes, I want it. Forget the jacket. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? Where is it? Wait, it looked better on her. Forget the fish. Forget the fish. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Forget the other fish too. I need to go look at her. I need to see that in real time. I thought that was gonna be a hat for me. Like my character, I thought I was gonna have a cute little snowman beanie, but no, it's for my cat. I don't even care how much that just costs. That costs like 7,000. Okay, you better not be glitched now, because if my cat's glitched and I just bought her a cute hat, I'm not gonna be happy. So you're here. Where's your sister? Is she under the floorboard again? Oh. She just left. Lucky? She just left us again. You don't seem very bothered by this. You really do not seem bothered by this, but I am. My cat just disappeared for like the 1,000th time. I don't think she liked me very much. Like, where did she go? Like, my dog doesn't disappear, but for some reason, my cat just, like, doesn't exist. Ah, Is she in the roof, though? Because if she's on the roof, that's not... No, she's in it. Yeah. Well, about that, she's gonna stay there because I'm not gonna lie, I am not. I'm not dealing with that. I'm not taking my roof apart just to get my cat back. Sorry. Oh my god, please tell me they're fixing this tonight, because what do you mean she's inside my roof? Well, we just have to look at this then instead. Like, if any game was gonna get me this obsessed, I wouldn't have thought it was a game that's like also available on mobile, you know? Like, oh, she's there. I genuinely didn't expect this game to have me in such like a chokehold. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, excuse me, but look at her. She's so cute. Like, she's majestic. I mean, what is she doing? What is she doing? I don't know what's... Oh, she's okay. She's okay. I don't know what just happened though. She's like glitching out like crazy. Anyway, I just had to look at the hat because that's just too cute. Like... This game's bad. This game is terrible for just getting me addicted to all the cute stuff. It's a problem. It's a real problem, might I add. Like, what am I gonna do on Saturday when this comes out? Like, I actually feel like I need to record it or do like an extremely like 30-minute short stream or something to you guys. Like, even without like a camera, just so you can see the reactions. Because this didn't get me in like the like excitable mood, or I wasn't even like, oh, this is so cool. I was like, oh, it's cute. Like, yeah, it's cute. Eh. When I tell you that this update coming out is going to be like crazily obsessive for me, like I'm not going to be able to help myself. I feel like I almost need to record the reaction. Because it's not going to end very well, personally. I might need someone to stop me from doing it. I'm going to use all the like in-game tokens they've given us, but then just see where I'm at, because then it becomes the problem. It becomes a problem once I actually run out of the free tokens. Once I've already used the free ones, then it's a problem. Let's see if I can... Do I have to buy the recipes for the other thing? Or is it part of the quest? I do not have... Wait. I don't have the other recipes like everyone else has. Oh, I do. They're right there. I just haven't cooked them yet. Wait, so we need meat? Okay, let's get those. I'm about to run out of space in my bag. And it's not good. I might have to upgrade my bag soon. I'm getting to a point where I'm becoming far too obsessed that I have too many things that I need in my bag at all times. I don't want to have to go back to my house just to pick up like my radishes or something, you know? Wait, the first one and I get 2 stars? My luck's just too good now in this game. I've leveled up everything too much. I remember when I was first playing and it just kept giving me 1 stars and I was like, well, that doesn't sell for very much. That's not good. Turns out, you keep playing the more you level up, the best the food can get. It's just like... Especially with the rainbow bouquet, like, I had no idea what that thing was. And I wasted like 3 of them. Was not happy about that. Wait, if I do a nice coffee, I can put that on the thing. You guys ready for this? This is about to be the biggest food item ever. I've seen people use this, but I've never made one. So we're gonna make a nice coffee and then we can do it. It's fine, do it. Oh, it cooks really quick as well. Okay. This is gonna look ridiculous. What? Wait. Wait, where is it? What? Look at that. Why is it so big? It looks good though. I'm not gonna lie, it's making me hungry. That's so funny. Wait, what have I completed? Oh, I got more pulls. Nice. Real nice. Wait, I need to do an ice latte and an apple frosted pancake. Okay. Do I not have any apples? I have apples. Okay, so we do the pancake and switch it for the apple. And then we need to do an iced coffee, which I think I switch one thing for milk. No, iced latte. I've already done the iced coffee, but we switch it for milk and I think it changes it. And then we've completed all the cooking for the festival. The event. Apple frosted pancakes actually sounds quite nice. What do we switch? Not that. What do we switch out? Like one of these? I am confused. How do I get the ice latte then? I don't know how you do it. Because it's on here and I've seen people cook it already, so I know it's the thing. How do I do it? We have ads coming up, so I have to like figure this out quickly, but there's iced coffee and an iced latte, but the coffee uses... Oh, wait. Maybe it... Ah. Figured it out. Figured it out. Let's go. I was like, hang on, but they won't let me replace the coffee. Like, why would I replace the coffee bit? No, it's the last two. So we finally finished them all. Yeah, we should probably get something for it, right? No? Do I get something for finishing them all? Oh, okay. Use the workbench to make a penguin stove. Place 3 Winterfrost season foods in your home. Okay, well, we're not gonna do that today. Not today. Not today, I'm afraid. Maybe another day. Wait, why do I have like a... Maybe another day. Why do I have like a drop thing? Oh, Twitch is literally telling me that Paleo has drops. That's quite funny, actually. Let me have a little look. On here. Okay, we have no people live that are playing Heartopia right now that I follow. So is there anyone that we can go over to that is playing Heartopia? Honestly, I have to say that changing the music on stream for me worked so much better. Like, I just put the piano music instead of the actual music I'm listening to, and it actually works really well. Let's see who... Let me mute the stream. Audio on stream. Wait. Wait, this girl seems cute. Okay. I'm gonna send you guys over on a raid. We didn't do a raid the last couple of times. Oh, I did just see that she has follower only chat on, but if you guys will still join, I would appreciate it. I should check that first. That's defense though, we all do that. We all do stuff like that. I've done that before because I've been nervous about people coming in. So we still respect it. She seems absolutely adorable though. And I think it's only day 3 of playing the game, so we will go and say hi. I should be live on Friday. Possibly Heartopia, but also possibly Paleo. We will see. Obviously, next week we're going to be playing a new game. So things will be a little bit different. We'll just go test things and see how it goes. But I will see you guys on Friday, just before the new update comes out. So I don't think we'll be spending any money on Friday because, to be honest, I don't care about the free stuff in the game. We will probably try and prepare like a new plot for the new stuff though. So I will see you guys then. Bye.